In November, Texas voters will pick a new governor, a new lieutenant governor, and decide dozens of other races. They will also be asked to vote on Proposition 1, which aims to put billions of dollars toward new highway projects. So what is Prop 1 and how would it work? First, let's look at how we pay for transportation in Texas. The Texas Department of Transportation's annual budget is about $10 billion, but the state's population is growing fast, and TxDOT officials say they need $5 billion more each year or traffic will get worse. Most of TxDOT's funding currently comes from two sources: the gas tax drivers pay at the pump and the fees Texans pay when they register their vehicles. But neither source has kept up with inflation, nor the needs of a state that's adding people at such a blistering pace. Since 2000, state leaders have stretched TxDOT's budget by borrowing billions of dollars via bonds and building toll roads. If voters approve Prop 1, TxDOT's budget could expand by taking advantage of the oil drilling boom in South and West Texas. When energy companies drill in Texas, they have to pay taxes on the oil and gas they produce. Oil drilling is a volatile business. For a large part of the 20th century, oil production taxes played havoc with the Texas budget. During an oil boom, lawmakers would find the state's coffers flush and boost spending. Then the inevitable bust would hit, prompting them to make painful spending cuts or raise taxes elsewhere. To bring more stability to state budgeting, Texas voters approved the creation of the Rainy Day Fund in 1988. Now, most oil and gas production tax revenue goes into that fund, which is difficult for lawmakers to spend without broad support from the legislature and the governor. Since the start of the current drilling boom, the Rainy Day Fund has grown fast. By 2010, the fund had over $7 billion. It is expected to keep growing over the next decade as oil production is expected to continue at a healthy pace. So what does this have to do with transportation funding? Prop 1 would amend the Texas Constitution so that half of the money that normally goes to the Rainy Day Fund would go to the State Highway Fund instead. Under Prop 1, the extra money can only be used for road construction, maintenance, rehabilitation, and acquiring right-of-way for public roads. None of the money can be used to build toll roads. To ensure that this program doesn't leave the Rainy Day Fund with too little money in the future, a separate law requires that a committee of legislators periodically determine a sufficient balance for the Rainy Day Fund. If the fund ever falls below that balance, then the transfers to the State Highway Fund will stop until the Rainy Day Fund gets back above that balance. Prop 1 has drawn widespread support from Democrats, Republicans, and a range of business groups. Some critics who disagree with projects that TxDOT has funded in the past argue that the agency should be overhauled before its funding is increased. If it passes, it is projected to add $1.7 billion to the State Highway Fund in 2015 and continue making large deposits to the fund for the foreseeable future. But it's just a first step to closing TxDOT's budget shortfall, and it would only help as long as the drilling boom endures. The Texas legislature will look for other ways to boost transportation funding when it meets next year.